We are going to start in just a minute, and I am going to turn the mic over to the virtual mic over to Jennifer Martelli, who will announce our first group of readers. I will also put the list in the chat for you so you can refer back if you want to. And when your name is called, when it's your turn to read, you can repeat your name and give a little greeting before you read your piece. Thanks very much and welcome. Nobody's late. Everybody is here just on time, and I'm so happy to see you all. Okay, Jennifer, take it away.
Thanks, Marjorie. Thanks for the mic. I'm Jen Martelli. I'm the poetry editor for Aimee Review. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who submitted work to us. It was really an honor to read your work. Cindy and I are really proud of this issue, the poetry, especially in this issue. It was really a pleasure, putting this issue 23, volume 23 together. So thank you. Thank you, Cindy and Marjorie. I love working with you both. It's always fun. Okay, so I'll be introducing the first 8 readers. I practiced everybody's names. I apologize in advance if I get them wrong. So, but I was practicing just in case. Okay, our first reader is Margo Berdeshevsky. Margo.
Oh, there it is. Hello, and yes, it's late in Paris, but I'm so happy to be with all of you. And what can I tell you? I'll tell you that there's a new book that's going to come out from Salmon Poetry called It Is Still Beautiful to Hear the Heartbeat. And that's a good enough introduction for this particular poem, actually. The poem is called Listen. Listen, thrushes, and not a soldier among them. Listen to their bones, waiting to be covered with a body. A daybreak, an absence of beginning, like bird hearts in the dark. Move with the confidence of new hatched wings, whisper veils instead of prayer, winter harsh rains, digging to rid the skies of curses, listening under a laced canopy of leaves, and a surprise, how the mountain goats gather, friends with their black slits for eyes, peaceful bodies wearing halos, not a cloven hoof among them. Yes, mourning doves are bleeding over the dying. Not a cruel word between them, only heartbeats. All night you listen, not a cry, none at all, an absence of beginning before you were born. Remember, my long-gone mother whispers, remember how the dragonfly lays her blind eggs on water, or the changing of light before ancient, more ancient than all dying. Remember, my long-gone mother whispers in dream after dream after dream, come to this world, my darling daughter. Be the wing lifting and listen to the night wind warning. Hold your hands over your eyes and cry for one war to end, even if you know there will be another, and stay in both worlds, because the broken, the dragonflies outlive the last and the first, their ancient spun wings, transparent as a voice's veil. And yes, mothers have always cried, an absence of beginning before you were born. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margo, and congratulations on your book. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Our next reader is Aimee Suzara. Aimee.
Hi, everybody. I'm here from Oakland, California, and then my son wanted to be a part of it. The poem is about him, so I thought it was fitting if he was sitting with me. So he's sitting with me. My poem's very short. It'll be over when you blink your eyes. But the background for the term Santo Niño is a Filipino version of the Santo Niño. This is the footnote, a deity known to play in the waters and helps protect the people. And it's a significant figure that exists in other cultures, like in Cuba, there's a Santo Niño that's like a legua, and then there's in the Philippines, it's a deity that plays in the waters. So this is my first ultrasound of a trickster. So the Santo Niño is like a trickster. First ultrasound of a trickster. What did you sound like that first time? A flutter, the wings of a furious butterfly, thrum of a colibri. Twice my heart's speed, yours. A life force, undeniable. A wild new fish already swimming upstream, all swashbuckle and verve, all grit and ashe, already my Santo Niño, playing in my waters, opening the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Aimee. And I'm glad your son is here for the launch.
They said so.
Hi. Our next reader is Arlene Naganawa.
Hi, I'm from Seattle, and I'm actually reading from the Medical Motherhood portfolio. At the Children's Hospital, the zones are named ocean, mountain, river, post-surgery, forest, elevator, deer. She cries for water, a sip of ice, needles, tubes, please, morphine, please, a cracker. The gift shop sells balloons, unicorn, cloud, get well soon. She can't read, she's 2. I lift the bear cub printed gown, catheter filling, sutures I can't see. A preschooler in a wheelchair spins in the elevator. I ride down a floor in frog, soft belly, skin like powder, morphine bolus, please.
Thank you, Arlene. It was lovely. Our next reader is Brenda Cardenas.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me in the issue and for having me here. My poem is titled What a Molcajete Holds, and the molcajete, for anybody who doesn't know, is the mortar and pestle. Despite my drawers full of knives and spoons, cutting boards, spatulas, ceramic ramekins, when I blend spices, I must place them in her molcajete. Press the 3-generation pestle against cloves to shatter them. Grind cominos y ajo in the same circular motion as the tides that softened stones fused to form its mortar. I fold my right hand over hers and hers and hers, their wrinkles a reminder that the skin is now loosening from my carpal bones, every piece of me pulled toward earth. Although she stands behind me, and another behind her and another, our shadows oscillate on the tile floor, skin smoothed in silhouette, coffee-colored heads blocking light. We have always stood on the verge of fracture, voices flitting like wings away from seams between the stones tight in our palms. But hummingbirds feast every 10 minutes, so we crush the flavors into our membranes, feed one another. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Our next reader is Caitlin McDonnell.
Okay, thank you so much, Jen and Marjorie. It's lovely to be with you all. I apologize if there's a little extra sound out there. My poem is called Bad Moms. I always cry on airplanes, thought it was the movies, but when I cried at Bad Moms, I wondered if it was the booze. Tiny bottle of Tito's and Mr. and Mrs. T. Or maybe it was being up above my life so that I could see its topographies, the patterns like farm circles, slopes, and narrative arcs. Or was it the turning over of my fate to a stranger I couldn't see, closed behind a locked metal door, whose voice may well be a lie? I didn't mind until I became a mom. My death before that, just a dramatic exit that would make my exes cry with satisfying anguish and regret. Turns out it's science, something about altitude and oxygen, the same reason we crave tomato juice. But really, those moms were tired. They wanted to love their kids and love their lives too, clinking glasses, dishes in the sink, down there on that silly earth where we're all doing our best.
Thanks so much, Caitlin.
Thank you.
I love a poem about bad moms. Our next reader is Courtney Bambrick. Courtney.
Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, all right. This came from a prompt that had to do with obsessions, and it was something else that I was writing about before, and then someone said Scooby-Doo, and then that lodged in my head, and I became, for the rest of the day, kind of obsessed with that. And this is The Mystery Machine Considers Its Vocation. Look, we're a team. When I carry my children to danger, I'm a mother. When I deliver my children from harm, I am a scream of rubber on the highway. I have a smell you can't quite place. Sandwich debris rotting between the seats, smoke and patchouli. Shaggy only has the one shirt. He sleeps with a dog. Velma smells like soap. I am a rolling toolbox for justice. We vigilantes tackle and unmask greed. We strike in the night and learn again and again how ownership begets abuse. Someone invented the van once. Before that, someone invented the cart, the wheel. I imagine my maker in disguise, vandalizing me, setting a fire inside me, breaking the glass of my windows for insurance. For what? These old homes, these amusement parks only want to house, to amuse. But someone hiding under a sheet or a wig or in a cloud of bees has hurt them, turned them into a site of fear. I won't say that I am never afraid, but I will say that my fear has kept me running, and running is my job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney. Our next reader is Donna Vorreyer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for providing this space. It's going to be a great afternoon. This is a poem for my mom, and it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Mom. Here we go. See how I do. This is called Making Tea. I Remember a Long Ago Summer. Honey hanging from the thickened dipper becomes a stream of spit from my teasing brother's mouth. Summer heat and hose water shimmering the scene. Becomes my mother's favorite scrimshaw pendant, swinging as she leans down to separate us with her smile and half hum. This is the hinge of memory, a slim wooden stick, becoming the paddle of a canoe to row me across the brain lake and into the reeds, singing Hosanna, what was, still is, and will always be sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. And thank you for your reading series too. 100 Pictures of Honey. You create a wonderful space there. And the last on my list, not the last reader, is Jana-Lee Germaine.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Marjorie, Jen, and Cindy, both for providing this space. I love getting to be a part of this, and for what a fantastic issue. I am just delighted to be in here with all of you. As I've been reading it, every poem just blows me away. This is my poem, Swing. Little Scherzo, performing prodigious underwater tumble sets on the ultrasound screen. Normal, we asked. What else has he to do in there, said the nurse. Arms and legs a minuet, whirling to your own time, my apricot of airless places. They had to cut you out, heart gone haywire, cells multiplying like magic mops in Fantasia. Everything harem scarum until the cogs in your clock whipped to a stop, and still you hitched your ride, death sewn to my uterine wall. Here is the urn I can hold in one palm, and here the corner of grandmother's grave, where we bury the mess of you. Such a dance you gave those womb weeks together, fiddling your scant skeleton around the dark floor. Oh, child of hop and hustle, nothing on this earth could sway you. I swing you free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jana-Lee. That was beautiful. And now I'm handing the microphone over to Cindy.
Thank you, Jen, for the mic. Thank you all for being here. And, to everyone who submitted, I think this was a record number of submissions we received for this issue. So much beautiful work. It was a pleasure to curate this with Jen and Marjorie. So I'm going to read the names for the next group of readers, and then Marjorie's put them in the chat. So if you don't remember which one is next, you can just refer to that. All right, so the next group of readers, Jessica Walsh, Karen Hildebrand, Kathy O'Fallon, Katie Manning, Katie Rogers, Lauren Crawford, Linda Spolidoro, Madeleine Mysko, and Michele Carras. So we start with Jessica Walsh.
Hi, everyone. Hoping my dog stops snoring while I'm doing this because he's right next to me, so you may hear that. This is my poem, Dangers of the Flesh. Let it be said that I ignored warnings, ran shore to blanket, my hands full of dead alewives, my palms silvered still when I dropped them in the sand at my cursing mother's feet. Living feet from the cemetery wasn't enough to sustain whatever it was in me that took death by the hand like a playmate. I took to woods and roadsides, drawn to the pile of what was alive, fur and flies and stink. My mother would snap, "Leave it," the way I yell at my dog when he lunges for goose shit or the trash can full of tampons. The only trophies I could keep, bones picked clean to white, stripped of danger. Thank you.
Karen Hildebrand.
Hi, I'm Karen Hildebrand. I'm so honored to be in this issue with all of you. Thank you so much. My poem is Mother's Always Right. Sun beams the window, sparking dust motes and shining the wood floor. The gentle coo of a mourning dove sounds from my childhood. I go to open the door for some fresh air, but Mom says, no, the critters will get in. Outside, a cottontail trembles in the grass, Pair of racy robins, ginger cat on high alert. I can feel the night crawlers pulsing. Here in the front yard, an entire wild kingdom poised to storm the gaping door. Turn my back for a minute, and a Canada goose is running a bath, nudging her goslings over the edge. Black bear holes up in the laundry, gorging on cheer. Down on my knees, what is this, coyote scat? When out from the bedroom she comes, long suffering look on her face, pair of fox kits dangling at her teats.
Thank you so much, Karen. Our next reader is Kathy O'Fallon.
Thank you so much for this gorgeous issue. I have a collection coming out from Finishing Line Press later this year called Variations on a Theme of Love. I'd like to dedicate this poem to my extraordinary daughter. While my daughter fights for custody, we're playing fort under the dining room table, her mother's mauve throw guarding the entrance, closing off the rear, pink pillows supporting our heads, gazing up to the sky of wood. She's 3. Last year threw off the diapers, claims one day will do construction, can't wait to drive an excavator, her first 4-syllable word. Strokes the table's metal rods I've named girders, though I doubt it can be right, but there's no escape to look it up. Besides, I'm trying to stay present. The collapse of the Baltimore Bridge with one swift undercut just hit the news, and my daughter is hanging on by a thread. I don't know what comes next, except what's in my midst, a toddler with midnight curls in rows, like cursives, double-spaced. She traces the holes of embedded screws. Her fingers turn around the bolts, ensure they're nice and tight, makes a fist around a table leg, up and down, checks the rods at all 4 corners with a shake. I say, this was built to be strong. She says, stable. I say, yes, stable. She says, secure. I say, yes, secure. She says, still. It fills the room.
Thank you, Kathy. Beautiful. I have Katie Manning up next. Is Katie here? Okay.
I think she is.
Yeah, if she joins later, then we'll just add her in. So next is Katie Rogers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Naoum Rogers. It's really lovely to be here with you today. I am going to read my poem that is in the issue. It is called Mud Season, which I think we're exiting finally, or maybe we're entering. I don't know. When I wrote the poem, mud season felt like deep winter, but I think we might be in mud season in spring now in Massachusetts. Okay, mud season. The edges of the day thaw too quickly, become sharp, jagged, like my children's drawings or their cries. My children, they are so very young, so beautiful and difficult. There are moments when new phrases they are testing, eyebrow raises, baby-teethed grins, crack the icy shell of our monotony. But the days are mostly a slog in mud-sucked boots. Haircuts, snacks, new pants, demands for all things. Lucky that shorts can last 2 or even 3 seasons. Boundaries blur to a soft down, the same as the fuzz on the back of my youngest child's neck. my bed, my body, my breakfast. Nothing is my own but this poem, written in the last light of a bone-cold Sunday, can hold me over until the spring. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, let's hope the mud days are over, huh? Next reader is Lauren Crawford.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Marjorie and poetry editors, Jen, and everybody who just worked on this collection. And I'm so pleased to be here. And I'm going to read my poem, and it's included in my brand new collection called Catch and Release from Cornerstone Press. And I actually see my reading mate here tonight, Taylor. She and I launched our books together, so it's quite a small world, and I'm very pleased that we both ended up in this issue as well. So this is my poem, Things I Inherited from My Father, According to a Mother Before Her Glass of Wine. And if you can't tell already, it's a bad mom poem. And it's after another brilliant poet, Jennifer Espinosa. Being neurodivergent and not knowing, being a girl, but not wanting to be a girl, being angry, using bad words, bad looks, bad posture, bad habits, keeping bad company as my only friend, the girl down the street who steals cigarettes from her mom and kisses me behind the Walgreens. Interrupting people because I'm afraid I'll forget what I wanted to say by the time someone is finished speaking. Having my own thoughts. Forgetting the names of streets I've been down when I am taking my driver's test, when I'm looking for a coffee shop, wanting to be alone, not talking. You're selfish, she tells me. How dare I speak my mind when I disagree? How dare I call the leaves down like a witch and wrap myself in dust before bed? How dare I spell the sun away from her house plants, her darling daughters? How dare I purchase string undies from the store against step-sir's wishes? How dare I dress like a whore? I bring pants when I'm asked to wear a dress and I am disrespectful. I wear a dress when asked to be professional and I'm a tramp. I asked her one time how to be a good woman, and she told me to be obedient. Be flexible with your man like water. But water is not flexible when it gets too hot or too cold, I wanted to tell her. And I am always too hot or too cold, too something, too everything. Just like you, just like father, just like nothing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lauren. Our next reader is Linda Spolidoro.
Hi. Excuse me. Thank you, Cindy, Jen, and Marjorie. And it's so good to see you, Cindy and Jen. It's been such a long time. So the name of my poem is from a cookbook. My oldest daughter got me a Russian cookbook, very old. I think it's like 1964. So that's where, and the pictures are amazing. So that's where the name comes from. Mamushka, recipes from the motherland. Forget about the Cyrillic script, tangled like cords in the junk drawer, the way you Billie Holiday'd, Nina Simone'd, Etta James'd the shit out of that morning, the Sunday your youngest daughter moved out. The way you Carney leaned into the open space and thought if only I had an audience, a witness, a hat. The recipes are in Russian, the pictures also Russian. The small Technicolor boy seated, his glass of milk, something pickled in a porcelain painted dish placed on the upper right corner of the woven placemat. His mother in her apron from behind, leaning, slightly rounded against the kitchen counter. And Aimee Winehouse, that wicked-eyed, mournful chav, lived and died in as many years as I've borne this scar across the low of my abdomen, the one that cut me in half, leaned me, slightly rounded, against the kitchen counter. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And our next reader is Madeleine Mysko.
Thank you, everybody. It's delightful to be here. It's delightful to be reading my poem in the actual issue. It's a beautiful issue. I'm sorry about this. I don't know how to turn that off. The title of my poem is The Summer He Left, and the epigraph is very simply The Place, Limekiln Lake, New York. Not a soul for miles around, or so it seemed when we took the canoe out, mother and I. The sky gray, the dock disappearing behind us, the shoreline sliding past, overhung by tangles of vegetation. And meanwhile, the lake below our paddles so black with shadow and decay. For years, we told that story, how we got spooked out there, two grown women drifting above murky shallows, or was it depths? How we laughed at ourselves, paddling back. So much I never told her about my sorrows, not because she wouldn't have understood, but because I didn't want to break her heart. Also, I was ashamed. She's been gone now a long time. Still, there are nights when I lie awake in the dreadful dark and drift surely into the perfect understanding of the dead. I tell her everything then, holding nothing back. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeleine. And the next reader is Michele Carras.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Cindy and Marjorie and Jen. And I've been poring over this issue all weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and read the poem that's in the issue. It's an important one to me, so I feel like it landed in just the right spot. So, title is Poem with No Mother in It. This poem is still waiting to be written. In April, perhaps, because April is sad, or May, though May would be cliche. Let's say Lent, let's say daughter, pen poised to write it all down. The recliner that sits vacant in a corner, all the nights spent listening for the soft gravel of her snore. Others have left, but this leaving will be different. It's a departure that, while not yet lived, will rock you again and again as if for the first time. And how unkempt the poem when it finally arrives to pay its respects, pocket torn, to describe a walk with a depressed dog in a drizzling rain, or the first time you say her name when meeting a neighbor. Easter candies sent to no one. The taste memory of milk, chocolate, and caramel fussily arranged in a pale blue box embossed with white lilacs, her favorite. Even the resentments will go, and how, in the end, no one got the parents they felt they were owed, and no amount of forgiveness can prepare us for such heartbreak. Thank you.
Thank you, Michele. And now I will turn the mic over to Marjorie.
I told myself I wouldn't forget to unmute, but look what happened. Anyway, thank you very much to all of you for your beautiful readings. That was just exceptional. You know, it's one thing to read it on the page, and it's another thing to hear it and to see you. And it's so very, very moving and encouraging, you know, to hear all these thoughtful voices. And thanks so much to Jen and Cindy, not only for hosting, but for all the phenomenal work they do to choose the poems for the print issue, to curate folios, and to generally be my partners in producing this lovely, lovely community of work. And I'm going to throw another thanks out to Melissa Joplin-Higley, who has been diligently recognizing all of the books written by our contributors and other women writers that deserve recognition. So thanks for that. So I'm going to take a moment to welcome latecomers and guests, as well as the readers. And I'm going to put the info about the issue in the chat. There's a link to a page on our website where you can get all the information about the issue, the contributors, if you want to purchase a PDF copy for only $5 or a print issue, that's all there. So I'm going to read the list of people who are up next. This will be our final group of readers. And we are going to hear from Mistee St. Clair, Natalie Evjen, Olga Zilberbourg, Rachel Horowitz, Sandra Fees, Sarah Burke, Subhaga Crystal Bacon, Sunny Brown Williamson, and Taylor Franson-Thiel. I will put the names in the chat, and I will also kind of remind you after each reader. And our next reader is Mistee St. Clair.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here. Thank you guys, Mom Make Review, for hosting this reading. It's been wonderful listening to everyone read. And thanks for selecting a poem of mine. It's an honor to be in the presence of such talent. I'm going to read the poem that was published in this issue. How We Lie to Our Children. We told them there is no more ice cream and they could be anything they imagine. Said they are the smartest, most beautiful, and what an artist, because that's what mothers say, though their rockets were pretty good. Of course, by now, they've long known there are no gift-bearing legendary figures, and that we were telling stories when we said if they left a glass of wine out the front door at night, dragons would come. We wished magic. Of course we drank the wine. And some of us weren't honest about our faith in science and tested logic because after we saw what we carried on the ultrasound screen, bulb of a heart pulsing in an outline like a fossil, cell division seemed like holy work. And when we felt a foot pressing from our inside out, suddenly existence was exotic and hard to come by. Maybe they are more than stardust, and we should all live tuned to mystery. Listen, this whole time we've been steered by doubt and uncertainty. Our atmospheres haven't been stable since they were universes contained in our bodies. We don't know what it feels like to drag what they drag like rocks in the wake of an asteroid. So sometimes we omitted the truth because we needed to, and sometimes they needed us to. And when we said, you can tell me anything, we didn't mean anything this hard. Still, we'll say it gets easier, and it does, and it hurts. We want to say it won't hurt.
Thank you so much, Mistee. That was wonderful and true. Our next reader is Natalie Evjen.
Hello. Yeah, my name's Natalie Evjen. Thank you to it's okay. It's a common mistake. Everyone's reading has been really touching, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this issue. So thank you to everyone who put work into that. I'm going to actually be reading not a poem, but an abridged portion of my fiction piece titled Monopoly. It's New Year's Eve and you're on your third game of Monopoly in 5 days. The quotation marks around Monopoly are due to the fact that the rules have been completely different each time, and never at any point have you understood them. Henry makes, modifies, and annuls them ad hoc, and you unequivocally agree to the changes, nod your head like they make logical sense. You may never pass go before him. You must pay him $500 whenever you're sent to jail. You may not, under any circumstances, claim boardwalk because he already has Park Place and he, quote, really, really wants it. You distinctly remember the Christmas when your parents gave you life. Not life, but the board game. You and your sisters played it hundreds of times. There were literal fistfights over who got the pink car. There was a real gnawing devastation whenever you ended up with mobile home, salesperson, split level. Even worse was when you made it through the entire 15-space stretch meant to represent human reproductive years without landing on a single baby boy or baby girl. Your parents would explain that real life wasn't like this, that life was more about decisions than luck. That now, as an adult, you realize Milton Bradley wasn't too far off. Your sister Angela has been trying for 2 decades, while you spun and won within a week of each IUD removal. The problem with having 5 kids, each spaced 3 years apart, is that you essentially have to become 5 different moms. You are just beginning to figure out how to keep one moderately happy when the next one comes along with a whole new switchboard. It requires strategy, balance, a significant amount of bluffing, not unlike poker. And then comes the point when you must pretend like you know what you're doing while also accepting that you are outdated, out of touch, embarrassing. It's a recent phenomenon. You have decided, probably to make yourself feel better, that it has to be an evolutionary mechanism. Children must believe they can do it better or they'd never leave the house. No one wants to ride in their parents' little pink car forever. They want their own, preferably the green one. The oldest 2 are downstairs with friends. There's a lot of laughing, pounding, shrieking. You know you should go check on them, but are scared of what you'll find. You envisioned a family New Year's Eve celebration, but they begged and pleaded to have friends over until your husband gave you that look. He is objectively the fun parent. Parenthood, you've realized, is about managing your expectations, like Sorry or Candyland. You remind yourself no one is fighting or crying. There has been no vomit. In other words, it has been a successful holiday. Henry rolls a 12. He moves his metallic roller skate 15 spaces, then proceeds to gather up all your money and property cards. I win, he says, and you don't argue.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I have a grandson who's a Monopoly fiend, so I feel your piece. Our next reader is Olga Zilberbourg. I hope I said it right.
Hi, thank you, everyone. It's so great to be here. I will also read a fiction piece or part of it. I'll just read the opening. So it's called The Train is Coming. My son wants to take the streetcar. My daughter doesn't. She doesn't want to walk either. She throws herself on the ground face down and punishes the pavement with her arms and legs. No, no, no. We are at a busy corner of Market and Van Ness. Streetcars, buses, and subway lines meet here. People are moving in every direction. A lot of them are unhoused, looking for shelter from the drizzle. The sidewalk bricks are filthy with cigarette butts, gum, candy wrappers, bird shit. Today's luck. There isn't dog or human excrement within 5 feet. The more she screams, the more I want to scream. We're late. We're always late. We need to get to an appointment with my son's occupational therapist. If he misses one more appointment, we'll be kicked out of the program. It took us 9 months to get him into affordable therapy for autism. 9 months and 5 years before that of trying to get the psychologist to confirm that his inability to copy circles and squares and extreme sensitivity to noise are symptoms of a larger problem. He's now 7. Sometimes when he decides to take his earmuffs off, I can negotiate with him. She is 5. She knows he's a different learner and that I'm going to ask her to be flexible. Hell, she knows she's going to college in New England and that she'll visit us on holidays. She plans ahead. That's why she's now on the ground.
Thanks, Olga. Thank you very much for that. You can read the rest of the piece in the book. Our next reader is Rachel Horowitz.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so pleased to be part of this issue. I want to dedicate this to my friend Ilana. I wish she could be here. Mustard. How long can mustard stay unrefrigerated? I ask because every day after he eats his lunch, my husband leaves it out, and every day I put it back in the fridge. Sometimes I'm not at home and it stays out for hours. I might have even left it overnight, maybe on purpose, maybe by accident, hoping subconsciously it would magically make its way back to the shelf on the door, by itself or with a helping hand from my husband. I'm concerned, baby, he tells me. I'm too down, more depressed than my regular first floor level. I've reached the basement. He saw my face contort with tears while I sat at the kitchen table as our almost 4-year-old chirped with her stuffies in the living room. He couldn't imagine the desperation I felt thinking about filling the rest of the rainy day with her, loading the dishwasher, putting away the mustard. I have depression, I tell him. It ebbs and flows. This is just a worse time. Throughout the day, I long for the moment after the children go to sleep when I can crawl into bed and start watching Netflix. All I have to do to get there is get my daughters ready for school, drive the carpool, unload the dishwasher, figure out what we're having for dinner, go grocery shopping, look at dirty dishes in the sink and will myself to load them, pick up all the toys on the floor, fill out the school forms, pay the bills, wipe the counters, make snacks that they'll eat that also have enough protein that they won't melt down, deal with the inevitable meltdown, fight with my 8-year-old about her homework and how long she can have the iPad, fold laundry, make dinner, give my husband dirty looks for using his phone at the table, clear plates, run the dishwasher, fill the bath, bathe the children, make it through what feels like a million bedtime procrastination techniques, pack lunch for the next day, wipe the counters again, put away the mustard. The only way to get out of depression is through action, my husband tells me, as though it's the first time he's imparted this gem of wisdom. You have to do something. You're dragging us all down. I realize we have some version of this conversation about once a year. After every time, I try to exercise a little more, find a few more stolen minutes to write, look at job listings I don't have the qualifications or time or energy to apply for. He explained once that our family was a closed system, that my gloominess sucked up all the energy from that closed system, that I needed to find a source outside the system. I laughed. I cried. I told him it wasn't that I needed outside sources of energy, but to think of me like a rechargeable battery, that I was running on empty and needed to replenish my own stores. Essentially, though I didn't say it at the time, that if he put away the fucking mustard, I might have more to give. And I'll leave it there, but please finish reading it in the issue.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rachel. I saw a lot of nodding heads at that list. Our next reader is going to be Sandra Fees.
I am so glad to be here, like all of you are, and really want to say thank you to Marjorie, Jen, and Cindy for hosting this and for offering this time. My debut full-length book, Wonderwork, came out in the fall, and I just want to give a shout out to Mom Egg Review for doing a review of the book. So thank you for that too. Algal bloom. Sea lions languish, the sultry ocean abloom, swirled in muck, in sand and algae, the night's throat pin-pricked by nascent hope, the sleek bodies, moon and sea lions and sea, full of light and toxins, full of taut caution, like my mother's tissues, the soft cells that couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. There was a time I imagined every bloom was a flower, but it's not true. Not every blossoming is a triumph. The green waves keep greening. If I didn't know better, I'd think they were beautiful, like an exquisite bruise, like the lush-haired pups with nowhere left to belong. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. That was beautiful. And now we have Sarah Burke.
Hi, everyone. So grateful to be a part of this group and to hear your beautiful work tonight. Thank you all so much. I'll read my poem from the issue. My dad called to tell me your dad died. I'm sorry he died. I'm sorry it's been so long. I wish you could tell me everything over the landline. I'd stretch the cord into the laundry room, surrounded by soap and empty baskets. I miss you. It's snowing tonight. My daughter is making a bracelet for her friend, linking beads with bright elastic. She wants to do it all herself, but needs help to tie the knots. So I help her. I'm sorry it's been so long. I still remember neon threads we braided for each other, ladder stitch and spiral, each holding half a broken silver heart. How small the space between the bracelets and the wolves, the unlit roads girls walk together. Somewhere under the snow, the spice of earth, the work of spring. I wish I could tell you everything over the landline, how much I miss you, how sorry I am, how the beads shine in my daughter's hands.
Wow. That was lovely, Sarah. Thank you very much. And we have now Sapaga Crystal Bacon.
Thank you, Marjorie and Jen and Cindy. I'm really so pleased to be in this beautiful issue. I'm going to read my poem, which is the first poem in the book. A family story. Aunt Louise sat at the end of day with her face in her hands after the meal my mother cooked and vomited on the tablecloth, her empty plate, nervous breakdown. And my pregnant mother who'd left her soldier husband in Idaho there to tend. They shared that awkward German name with the two consonants at its start, Knopf, from the Middle High German word Knopf, which means knob, button, pommel. Their husbands' names, uncle and nephew, they were each saddled to. She'd left, 8 months pregnant with my brother, took shelter with Louise until the birth, cooked meals for the farm hands, and cleaned even the mess Louise made. Once she'd left, decades passed with no contact. Something about money not lent when my parents' marriage was new, my mother pregnant with me, a house they wanted to buy. Later, the old uncle, Louise's husband, dead, and with him their long estrangement, Louise set a formal table for us with bone china, a white cloth. One visit, the old farmhands, knobs, buttons, pommels, all, called my mother John's wife, forgetting time's changes. Al, my father, John, my brother's father, he never knew. Louise was shut away in a hospital room by her son, no home to keep. She died in her sleep alone. Now the interstate winds through sold off land. Another family's cattle bawl early mornings in the abattoir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sapaga. Thank you for that. Our next reader is Sunny Brown Wilkinson.
Hey, thank you so much, Marjorie, Jennifer, and Cindy. I love Mom Egg Review. And I just wanted to put a little plug in. I was so happy to be included in this issue anyway. And then I saw that my friend Natalie Evjen was in the same issue. She was my TA in my class at Weber State last semester, and I was so happy to share this space with her. So I will be reading my poem, I Have Grown Older. When she leans over to examine my son's wart, the slight bald spot on the dermatologist's head is an outline of Greenland. Like mine, her hair is thinning. Like mine, her life is thinning, though she's still beautiful, as I am, as I tell myself I am. But I see it suddenly like the sun, yellow, haggard, and finally out, hanging in a daze above the freeway. I have grown older now. I have grown older lifting my children from egg to adolescence, lifting them from car seats and cribs, lifting them into high chair for mac and cheese, up the stairs to bed after they fell asleep in the car, taking their hands as we hiked every trail behind our house, taking their hands as we crossed streets to movie theaters and libraries and restaurants with paper menus to color with free yellow, red, and blue crayons. I have grown older scrubbing their blackened feet, summer nights after garden whooping and trampolines. I have grown older bending myself over the bathtub, wondering at the silk of soap stuck to their chins, the bright eye of youth wide open. I have grown older driving and driving to piano, tennis, guitar lessons, baseball games in a park ringed with oversized trucks and proud fathers. I have grown older cooking casseroles that reeked of broccoli, sweeping the crusty skins of homemade bread into the red dustpan, tucking in boys with freckles dense as stars. Some nights in the dark, something holds me at gunpoint, asks for an account of my life. Shaking, I open the little purse of my days, and looking into an emptiness, it says, it doesn't look like enough. Where are the statues that say you were somebody? Where are the ceremonial papers stamped with the name of some dignitary? There's nothing here but a pile of clothes to iron, the soft breathing of boys who don't know a hand pulls the covers up every night. I have no map then. I am bereft on a dark road of nobody. I cannot see my way out of the black. It isn't until days later, some bright afternoon, that a feather light lands on my chest and I breathe again. And the world is an open field, and I see I have been grazing in the long grass, and it tastes good. It tastes good to have grazed so long in this body, in this life, this field, this body, this long time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunny. That was lovely. And now our final reader of the evening is Taylor Franson-Thiel.
Which is deeply intimidating for me after listening to all of you guys read. It has been such a beautiful evening. So thank you all for sharing your work. I'm reading my poem from the issue Born From, which is also in my debut collection, which just came out, which is about my mothers and the women who may come after me and the landscape of central and northern Utah, where I'm from. So this is Born From. A woman burned out of the sea foam of an asteroid crater. My mother's ripple down my torso like Saturn's rings. This is a mourning country where we give birth to tempered glass daughters, spread ashed afterbirth on lake shores. I will always answer to my great-grandmother's names, carry footpaths they charted on my forearms and the nests they built on my back, legacies I cannot live up to. The eggs inside me were alive already when I lived in my mother. The eggs inside me, little comets, orbiting their ovum heritage. The eggs inside me are my mother. I name them Vernay, Naomi, Anna, Birdie. Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who read tonight, everybody who came to be part of this celebration of the issue. I put again in the chat the link to the issue if anybody wants to investigate that. And I'd like to invite you to next week's part 2 launch reading. Same time, same station, basically Sunday at 5:30 Eastern. I'd love it if any of you could show up. And I thank you so much for being with us tonight. Have a wonderful weekend and take care. Great work.